in the well, I feel like I'm gonna be cursing, but motherfucking building.
Do it, man. I just gotta watch my mouth.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't have to.
But listen, I want to go back a little bit just to give people a little bit of like a background, and I feel that will also help them in their voting and stuff like that to get to know you a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
So my introduction to you was through music.
Yep.
Right. I used to pull up whatever time of the morning, and you were like ready to engineer a session.
Yeah.
And you had your own studio.
Yep.
So tell me about that time and starting your own studio.
Well, by trade, I was a rapper too, and I still write rhymes. I got tracks, I got stuff that played, and I've been involved in music since '91 as a dancer originally. And then because I couldn't get in the studio with the group I was dancing for, I got my own equipment and started my own studio so me and my boy could rap. Shout out to Shamari from Too Crazy Mental.
Okay.
And from there, because we were one of the first publicly open hip hop studios in the city from '93, word just spread that I was there. And because I value hip hop so much, like it's a part of my soul. Like that's hip hop, me, we can talk hip hop classics any time of the day. And just the neighborhoods start to understand, okay, there's a studio here you can go to. You're going to come in, you're going to drop your track, you'll get a beat produced, drop your lyrics, and you'll be able to go home with a copy that's listenable, right? It was hard to get that in any studios. And because of, I'm lucky I have a certain level of discipline, I made sure my customers were satisfied. My rates were super affordable. I started out at $20 for 3 hours.
Wow.
You get 3 hours of my time for $20.
Y'all hear that? $20 for 3 hours, yo. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And by the time I got in there, what was the standard around that time? Because the studio was looking nice by the time I pulled up in them times.
Oh, thanks, man. I think around you it was $40 an hour.
Wow.
It was about $40 an hour.
And the studio was like worth way more than that.
Well, yeah, and I had all that experience of engineering people, so I would make sure the vocal sounded nice. I understood, punching in. Because I'm such a hip hop fan, I could help the artists make sure their lyrics were on point and how they dropped it. So I ended up managing a lot of artists because they were comfortable recording with me. They can get their stuff done in a good amount of time, efficient amount of time. There wasn't wasting time. I wasn't bunning the place down when I was working, so I wasn't distracted. And there was a respect. And the fact that other people from different neighborhoods were all coming to my studio, I would give them books. When they were waiting, I'd give them books on African history to read. And they would sit there and read while they're waiting for their session. And then the conversations between different groups just flourished. People made connections. And a lot of the beefs were settled. I remember on stage, the beef between Floma and Regent Park was settled at one of my shows. The jump off we did in 2009 down at Opera House. And it's connecting with people through art. And then that's how I got into politics and music. I mean, politics and law. Because I was doing co-op. I was doing co-op placements for high schools. And then these young people were telling me, I got charged with this or, this happened. And then I would show up to court for them. And I would advocate and say, you know what, this person's a good person doing good things. And then a lot of the guys started asking me to be their sureties. And I was actually sureties for quite a few of the men that were doing music at the time. And then that experience made me understand how law was working. And then one of the artists I used to record, he became a lawyer. He was a teacher. He became a lawyer. And
that's crazy.
He hired me. He said, Knia, and shout out to Louis Dallas, right? He said, Knia, you know the law. Come work with me as a legal assistant. So I started showing up in court, speaking to the judge, setting dates. And then after, he just said, instead of me paying you for your time, let me pay for your LSAT prep. I did my LSAT prep, got into law school, and then the rest is a wrap.
And for some of the people who don't know, man, like Knia has been, when he was working on music, like he was working on like some of the bigger artists in the game, you know what I'm saying? Like I met Don Million through working at Knia Studio, you know what I'm saying? Like you engineered like pretty much all of those albums or most of those albums at that time for him, no?
Well, Fonz was doing the engineering, but I was doing the managing. So I did a couple of his early recordings, but because we were so close and from the same neighborhood, there was a trust there. And it's hard to trust people in this game, but Millie and I had that mutual respect, and I was managing his stuff, and that's how we ended up getting you know, nominated for Rap Video of the Year 2006.
Yeah.
Walked the red carpet, got the distribution deal, even had the documentary, you know, Alias the movie filmed. And then, you know, working with TNT, Point Blank, Out the Trunk, 20 Below, like so many different artists from different neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We just had that respect for each other. And there was a lot of scary times in the studio.
I could imagine you just named some gully crews, bro.
Trust me, bro. Like the amount of things that were around and the amount of times that even I had to put my hand out and just stop a man from whatever. Like literally, I can tell you, like I remember being at shows, we're out of town and things are heating up and I'm just like, yo. And then the man then would respect me and it wouldn't happen. But it was real. It was real. And it was.
If there was only Instagram in them times, holy fuck.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what would happen, man. Well, we would have blown up by now if we had social media back then.
Yeah.
We were recording on tapes and printing records and CDs. Like, you know what I mean? But it was an experience. A lot of my fondest memories are from there. I miss being in the studio. I miss seeing that creativity come out of people who felt like they didn't belong or felt like they didn't have anything, and then seeing them create something that they can roll with and develop. It was the best feeling in the world. And I'd like to see more of that. Like, I'd like to see more studios pop up and more people put their energy into art instead of other negative things. Now,
Before we go into like even some more stuff in the legal stuff, right? Because I want to get some like legal opinions for some of the stuff that's happening currently in the news, right?
Yeah.
But I want to like take us through like a journey basically. So from the music and you get into law, right? Give me some of the pitfalls that you might have dealt with on the way up dealing with the legal profession, especially as a black man.
When I wrote my LSAT, I didn't get my score. Funny enough, the documentary, the Alias documentary, was being filmed the same time. So the camera crew followed me to my LSAT test. They got permission to be there because it's really tight. You can't have any electronics. You can't have any notes or papers. You go into the room, you do this test without any breaks, and then you come out. So they showed up. I did my test. I got the letter for the test score, and they were waiting. So I open it, and then it says, your score is canceled. I'm like, why is my score canceled?
Yeah.
Because they want to know if I have a good score enough to get into law school. And then I had the subsequent letter said, a test invigilator watched you leave the room, pull a cell phone out of your pocket, and when a camera crew approached you, you bolted.
What?
So they thought I cheated on my LSAT.
Crazy.
I was tripping. I was like, what the F? Like, who's trying to sabotage this? Because this was a major move for me and for the community and everyone around me.
Yeah.
So I was basically being told I cheated. And once you have a canceled score, you can't send, if you send that to a law school, they're just going to throw that away. You're not giving you any play, especially when they think you cheated. Lucky enough, the camera crew was filming just before I came out of the door. And they filmed and and you see me come out walking and talking. And then the camera guy comes up to me, he says, hey, Knia, like, do you want to call your daughter? Right? Because I'm father of 2 children. He's like, do you want to call her and let her know how you did? I said, sorry, I can't. My phone is in my car. And then he's like, here, I got my phone. I'll give it to you. So he passes me the phone. Then I said, look, I don't want to use the phone in here. Let me walk outside so people don't think I had a phone or I'm cheating. So I walked outside, and that's all on camera.
Yeah.
Funny enough, that's exactly what the presumption was. Whichever racist fool thought I was cheating,
wow,
you know what I mean, had a video that came out to show that they were totally lying. And that really opened my eyes to law too, because eyewitnesses, 90% of the time, they're not accurate.
So scary because like you're getting messed up while inside of the legal system. Like it's like, how do you defend when you're trying to become part of the system that defends people? So crazy.
I was almost blocked. Just save and except for that video.
Wow.
So that was the first pitfall. And then the second one was when I actually became a lawyer, we all know there's legal aid, right? So we have to apply to be on the legal aid panel. Me and another guy, we both graduated at the same time. He was articling at the same place as me. We both put in our applications, and you're supposed to get approval within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He got his approval. I didn't get mine. And then I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And I didn't get mine for 3 months.
Wow.
Which ended up backing up all the work I was doing. To this day, I haven't caught up with my legal aid. I've done maybe 50, 60,000, maybe more of work without being paid. I think close to $100,000 of legal aid work I've done without being paid. Because of the initial backup, I never was able to get into a groove and a system of submitting my bills. So I just work on cases. Bills never get submitted. I finally ran into one of the higher up people in legal aid at court, and I said, look, this is what's happening to me. She says, you know what, I'm going to check into it. She pulled some strings and went in, and she found out somebody had blocked me from getting my approval.
Wow.
And then it eventually got unlocked.
That's so crazy. Like,
I know. It's nuts.
yo, I can't believe what I'm hearing, man. Like, this is happening here in Canada, in Toronto.
In Toronto. Yeah.
Wow.
And mind you, at the time when I was blocked, remember, throughout law school, I was fighting carding. And I was in the media a lot. So people already knew of me. I think some people knew of me before I even became a lawyer.
You're right.
So I don't know if this was a malicious attempt to block my progress or if it was a glitch, but I think it's more of a malicious attempt. Like, well, I can't see a glitch like that.
By the time we get to the second time, the test, and then putting your stuff forward, like, you know, it doesn't seem like a glitch. But when in the legal profession and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, you start to get into like dealing with cases and stuff like that. Was there any like a case that you wouldn't take?
Almost. Once there was a human trafficking case. Someone stopped me in the hall. I was rushing somewhere and they're like, sir, please, are you a lawyer? I said, yes. I have a case. I need your help. And I'm like, I can't take on any more cases. But then I thought back to why I became a lawyer. And I said, okay, what's the charge? And they're like, human trafficking. I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with that because I don't support any abuse of anybody or exploitation. I'm not into that. I don't support it. But then I stopped myself and I said, wait, I haven't even heard the accused side of the story. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go. I'm going to go meet with them and hear what they have to say. And then I'll decide. Met with them, heard what he had to say. And I'm like, you know what? I'm defending this person because the story didn't sit right with me.
Right.
And after like a long fight, I got him out on bail. But, you know, the rest of the story isn't so happy because of the way the system works. But at the end of the day, it was a case that I wasn't going to take until I really thought about it. And then I took it. Now, I don't like taking sex assault cases because my nature is not to be aggressive at people. Right? I will use my mind. I will be, you know, strategic, but I can't twist a woman's words and make her feel a certain way. Like, it's not my skill. Yeah. And I recognize that. So with sex assault cases, I usually pass them off to another trusted lawyer that I have who's able to do his job in that way. It's just not me. I'm advocating for other things in a different way. So I would take any case that I feel I can represent fairly. I'm trying not to take any more cases because I'm overloaded. But so many people need help and my soft heart kind of gets in the way sometimes. But I would really love new lawyers, anybody who really wants to work in the social justice arena. I would love to train them on my set of ways of doing things and have other lawyers that could support so my firm can take on more because we do great work and we just don't have enough resources. Yeah.
Not enough people who want to jump into that. People are so busy wanting to be rappers and so much other shit that they don't want to get into the things that you're dealing with, man.
Yeah, but even lawyers who are able to practice, you know, I'm not going to slam on the profession, but a lot of lawyers are out for their money, right? Which is fine. You get your money, but there's got to be a balance between your role as an advocate and your money. And, you know, I'm about advocacy. So I need people on my team who see it that way too, or else there's going to be a disconnect with what Ma'at Legal stands for as opposed to other firms.
So you mentioned that in 97 that you tried your hand in politics.
Yeah.
What made you try your hand in politics from back then? to even like where you are now, like from getting into music to the legal profession to like now you're running for council, right?
MPP.
Yep. And give me the district again.
Humber River, Black Creek.
Okay. Go vote. All right.
Please. And if you're 18 and over, just do it. Do it for me if you're not going to do it for yourself. But no, honestly, do it for yourself because it gets you engaged. So please, the young people, they make the difference.
Yeah.
If all the young people voted, they can control where politics goes in this country. Absolutely.
No, exercise your all right to vote, yo. You know what I'm saying? We have a right to vote. Y'all should be exercising it. I'm going to be exercising my right to vote.
Good.
Now, with that also, are convicts allowed to vote?
Yes. In the United States, no.
Interesting.
In Canada, yes. And that's a big misperception because I know a lot of people I meet, they think they can't vote because they have a record. That's not the way it works here. If you're inside, you can't vote.
Okay.
But once you're released, you can vote.
So even if you have a pending charge, you can vote?
Of course.
Wow.
Of course. Canadian citizen, 18, you can vote. All you have to do is show where you live, right? You just have to show where you live because that's the riding you're supposed to vote in.
That's it. Okay.
But you were asking me my path from my first election until now.
To getting into like, because you're still you're still in the legal field, but I feel like your passion for politics grew. Like you ran for mayor last year.
I did, 2018. I ran for mayor, yeah. My passion for politics is because it's my passion for people. It's my passion to see the human race and people have a good life.
Yeah.
And the first time I ran is because I saw there was a disconnect between government and the people. And how I was introduced to that is a gentleman named Winston Roots. And anybody from Finch would know Winston Roots and Roots Pharmacy.
Okay.
I was involved with helping get the Marcus Garvey Center in the West End established.
Dope.
And when I had spoken with him and met him at a couple events, he saw something in me. And I owe him so much gratitude because he was the first person that exposed me to the wealthy black class. I didn't even know black people had wealth in the city. Like,
I'm not aware of it right now. The only wealthy people I know is like, well, I won't mention them. You know what I'm saying?
There's a whole set of wealthy black people that we don't know of. The way I found out was the Harry Jerome Awards.
Okay.
He gave me 2 tickets to the Harry Jerome Awards, and I went there, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, all these black people with money. I go, why is our community suffering? I couldn't make the connection. And then he introduced me to a young political organization where they supported one of the parties. And he said, become a member. So I became a member. And then after becoming a member, the person that was running in my neighborhood needed volunteers.
Yeah.
So I showed up as a volunteer. And I did 1 day of 1 or 2 days of volunteering, knocking on doors, spreading out flyers. And then I realized, wait, this person's just like me. Like, this is something I can do or that person can do. This is not, you don't have to jump through hoops and be different to be to be in politics or to run for office. Yeah. And once I got exposed to that, I said, next election, I'm putting my name up. And I put my name up in 97 because Toronto was amalgamating. Right. It was a mega city.
It became the mega city.
Right. And what I realized.
Or the GTHA or something like that, no?
No, it was the mega city. The GTHA is the Greater Toronto Hamilton area. So GTHA includes Hamilton. GTA is Greater Toronto area, which includes like Sauga, Peel, York region, and Durham region. But when I ran, I realized that, okay, anybody can do this. And I said, I wanted to bridge the gap between government and the people. Again, because I was able to, I had good vocabulary, reading, etc. I was able to understand things, but I knew other people around me who were smart, but just didn't have that experience reading or doing things like that. So they didn't translate the way I was able to translate. Right. So I said, you know what? I'll represent the people. I have no problem doing that. And I thought, okay, I'm going to put forth my good ideas. I talked about water quality. This was before Walkerton. I talked about water quality. I talked about indigenous issues. I talked about things that made sense. And then after the election, I thought I was going to win, right? Which everybody does. But after when I saw the results, I was like, okay, this is not about ideas. Yeah. This is about how much money you have and how much volunteers you have. And so I said, okay, I'm not going to run again. I'm going to wait till I'm older and established, and then I'm going to start doing it. So in 2010 is when I put my hat back in the ring because I was older. I was 30? So 30, yeah. 30, and 36. And I said, okay, I'm gonna start getting people to know me again, because I know it's time to build up your name.
Sure.
And I was running in Malvern, Alton Towers, Malvern area where I grew up, and I saw that people liked me. I saw that at the debates I did well, but I didn't have the infrastructure. And because I was always working, I was running studio. I just started back in university, and I was doing this stuff as a legal assistant.
Right.
So I don't have, it's not like I'm inactive, so I have time to knock on every door and do everything. I give everything I got, but that was the difference. So then I ran 2010, and then I saw an opportunity to run with the Green Party. So I ran federally with the Greens, because I found the Greens didn't have all this criteria, and they didn't control your words.
Right.
I didn't want to run with a party that would control what I said, because I believe you need to get the authentic me, and I authentically have to represent the people that are around. And I ran for the Green Party a few times. They loved me. They wanted me back. But people would always stop me and say, we like you, but you're with the wrong party. So then I made an attempt to get the Liberal nomination back in 2016. Again, ethnic voting is what defeats good candidates.
Right.
Because if you're in a major Chinese area, you could be the best representative in the world. But if you don't have a Chinese last name, they may not vote for you.
Right.
And then I was experiencing that in Malvern. Because my name is Singh, and because I'm black, even though I'm half Indian, half black, but I appear black, people who were Indian didn't want to vote for me. They said, oh, he's black. And the black people didn't want to vote for me. They said he's Indian.
He's Indian, yeah.
Right?
That's crazy.
I know, it's crazy.
We're so divided, man.
Super divided, man. But what I always got is people in the area still respected what I had to say and appreciated it. But it's this political machinery that defeats good representation.
Yeah.
So our government suffers because of that machinery. So I just keep going. I'm a lawyer now. I have a voice in the public. So it's almost like being elected without being elected. But I'll still strive to get elected, because I know with getting elected, I'll have resources to do more work.
Right.
And try to improve lives for people.
Let me ask you one more question before we get into like some of the more current topics, right?
Yep.
Do you think having your legal experience assists in politics as well?
Absolutely.
Tell me why.
Because you have to read a lot of information, and you have to understand laws and lawmaking. And I found that a lot of politicians, at least the very successful ones, were lawyers. John Tory was a lawyer, right? Having a legal degree gives you that added ability to sift through knowledge, to be respected, right? And for people to value your words.
Yeah.
So I just found it as an advantage, but I really became a lawyer to protect the community and protect myself, right? Because I thought about it, like the most critical thing that decides every day is the law. So if you know how to navigate and argue the law, then you are really at the helm of how society functions.
Yeah.
And it's been a great asset, because people can't just say things to me and I'm like, oh, okay. No, it's like, actually, no. Or yes, and this, because I've done the research or had the experience. But being a lawyer in social justice, especially criminal law, I'm exposed again to so many injustices and so many challenges where now if I were to be elected, I know where the dollar should go. I know what's needed to improve people's lives.
Yeah.
So it's that experience that's really beneficial.
Oh, that's dope, man. That's dope, man. Yeah, man. We have Knia Singh in the building. We're doing an exclusive YouTube live. Big salute to the comment gang. I want to read a couple of the comments that are over here. Big salute to Rashad Harris. He said, "Yes, brother." Big salute to Peace Love. He said, they say politics and talent shows are a lot in common. The media and corporations are the judges. Politicians are the contestants. Wow, what do you think of that statement right there? That's deep.
The media aren't the judges. The people are the judges. The media is the medium of the message, and the contestants most of the contestants are the politicians. If you're just running for the sake of getting a position.
Yeah.
For me, it's different. I'm running because I want to improve lives. I want to improve the future of my family. I want to improve the future of your family and all the viewers who are young or viewers who have children. What's going to be left for them to hold on to? What freedoms are they going to have? What abilities are they going to have to navigate this nonsense that's happening right now?
Yeah.
They're not going to have much unless people stand up for their rights, right? And you know, I don't look at myself as a contestant, even though it's a great analogy that he put there. But that's me. I'm a bit different than the regular people who run.
Yeah.
Right? I'm doing this because I really believe in a society that functions coherently and cooperatively. There's no reason why not every human could have a house and food. Like, there is no reason.
Yeah.
Aside from greed, right? And aside from greed, and greed and politics go really hand in hand. And it's so funny. The two things that people despise or don't mistrust the most are lawyers and politicians.
Lawyers and politicians. That's crazy.
And I'm right in that field.
Yeah.
But I'm the opposite of the stereotype. You know what I mean? And even being the opposite might be unbelievable because it's like, oh, sure, yeah.
They all say, yeah.
Right? But trust me, check my track record and you'll see. And Friday, Ricky Dred, man, you know my history and you're letting the people know. So.
No, listen, I don't usually delve into the politics too much, but through knowing you, it has encouraged me to actually look into politics. When you ran last year for mayor, it was the first time, and this is no cap, this is the first time I ever voted, dude.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
in 40-something years, it was the first time I ever voted.
Yo.
Because I know you personally, and I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to exercise my right to vote. The voting is right in my building in the first floor. I just walk right by them all the time. I don't care.
And you're part of the reason why I finished in the top 10, right? My first time out without much ability to canvass the city.
Yeah.
I finished in the top 10. And thank you for that. And thank you. I hear that a lot from a lot of the people in the community.
Well, I say that to say because when people can identify with their politician or the person that they're seeing as the politician, it encourages us more to be like, you know what? I know that person. I know he's a good person. He's not trying to mess over the people. I won't feel bad like voting, like saying, okay, well, maybe will he screw us over later? No, I actually know him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for the people who might not know you personally, if they know where you come from, they know that y'all come from the same type of backgrounds and different things like that. It puts that trust in there where they're like, well, he ain't gonna screw us over.
Absolutely not, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's all the people want. They just want, they vote for somebody that they just say what they're gonna do.
Trust me, if I wanted to be in one of those parties and elected, I would have been already. Like, if I want to be with them, I can play the game. You know what I mean? It's not hard to play the game.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. No, sir. You know what I mean? Like, that's easy.
Yeah.
What's harder is being true to yourself and true to the people. And that's me. I can't not be that. And I'm glad that you were inspired to vote. And I hope every time that I run, more and more people are inspired to vote.
Yeah.
Because that's half the reason why I do it. I know the odds maybe seem dismal sometimes, and I know I'm working all the time, so it's hard to do everything I want to do. But as long as my face can be there and someone can say, you know what, I know that person, or a young person will say, wow, that person looks like me. I could do that one day. That means we've expanded our potential.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm happy if that's what happens every time I run.
No, that's dope, man. And so let's get